when are we going to see you win a major?
Have 8 beers with 8 runs. So these 3 athletes would be a good competitors in BEEROX against me.
So what sort of 3 top scientific studies have you embedded into your training methodologies?
Okay.
That would have been breaking news. Tim's going to break 50 for the first time. 5 minutes.
No, not now.
Okay, my pronunciation. You've already told me this once, and I'm going to have a go at it. But breathe. Think German, Ryan. Let's go. How was life growing up in Dietmannsried?
It's really good training. So the Norwegian threshold, double threshold thing, I implement in my training.
So hey folks, we are back with episode 7. Wow, 7 episodes already of the 8x8 podcast. I'm actually waiting on Lillie. Lillie's having a bit of a run around this morning, trying to make the call. But I'm looking forward to Tim joining us today. Tim's going to be joining. Tim Wenisch is going to be joining us on this call. Tim!
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Little bit of a time zone confusion there. This week, with it being a major week, people are all over the place. On time zone becoming even more important.
That's true, but I thought when I saw the time, that's UK time, so I wasn't sure. Yeah, but all okay, but all good. Where are you from?
I'm from Northern Ireland, Tim. I'm from a little town in Northern Ireland called Lisburn. I think a population of but maybe 20,000 people. They do call it a city, but you can walk through it in 5 minutes from one side to the other, so it's not much of a city.
Fun, yeah. So I live in the south of Germany, near Munich, so 1.5 hour near Munich.
Yeah. And
a small village with 10,000 people, so
I see
a bit smaller.
The town name was like Detzen Man or Detters Man, or what's the pronunciation?
Dietmannsried.
5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Really good to connect with you, Tim. When are you flying out to Las Vegas?
Monday midday, and I will arrive Monday evening.
Okay, cool.
It's great.
Yeah.
Because of time zone, so Las Vegas is 9 hours behind us.
Yeah.
So it's better, I hope, with the jet lag, and you have more time to recover. 9 hours more time.
Yeah.
So Monday.
How do you generally feel about doing long trips and having to perform within a few days of landing? Does it impact you a lot, or not so much?
So in Hong Kong, I felt great during the race, but in front of the race, I had a lot of problems with sleep, of course. I didn't sleep much, and my heart rate, rest heart rate was much higher than normal.
Okay.
And also, the food wasn't perfect, I would say, in Hong Kong. So, of course, there are some problems, but I think the most important point is that you arrive early enough that your body can compensate the jet lag.
Yeah.
And all good.
Yeah. I one of my big sports that I love to follow outside of HYROX is UFC.
Nice.
It's always so fascinating, like how they have to do their preparations, because they might have to fight at like the strangest times in the strangest time zones around the world. There was actually a card in Manchester, England, and it was quite a big card actually. And because of the UFC, they'd run out of, I don't know, prime time, airtime in America for pay-per-view. They couldn't change the local time in Manchester for the race. So these guys had to get up, put on essentially Lycra underwear, and go and fight other men and women in a cage at 6:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's super crazy, but yeah, it's okay. I would say with the times, and in every sport it's different, and most sports are in the evening. Of course, most of the athletes will train at midday or in the morning. But it should be good, especially for other athletes who want to look the race, and it's of course in the evening. So I think it's great whenever it is.
Awesome.
You need to be ready.
And Tim, how do I pronounce your surname correctly? So as I for introductions and that type of thing that I nail.
So Wenisch.
Wenisch.
Yes. It's funny because a lot of other people not from Germany say to my name Wenisch, like the wine.
Yeah.
So Wenisch.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more softer, Wenisch.
Wenisch.
Yeah, perfect. That's great.
Don't go too hard. It's like I used to date a Dutch girl, and we say vodka, and she used to say vodka. So it was, so that's a good one. Okay, cool. So let me just do a bit of an introduction.
Yeah.
And we're going to jump on from there. Actually, a little bit of housekeeping. So Lily, who's my co-host, she's landed in Dubai just a few days ago. And she's on the way to this call as well. So she's going to join us at some point through the call. She forgot her headphones, so she's just making sure she's got those. So if you see another face pop up, don't be too surprised. We haven't been hijacked. It's just Lily. Okay, cool. Let me do my little spiel. Welcome back to the 8x8 podcast. This is episode 7 with Tim Wenisch.
Yeah, great. It's good.
Very excited to speak to Tim. Obviously, this is a build up to the Las Vegas Major, which is the 3rd major of the year. Is that right?
Right.
The 3rd of 4 majors. So a very, very exciting week. As a part of the build up to this week, we're actually releasing 3 podcast episodes. So Tim is the first of the 3rd, and this will be released on Monday. And we'll have another 2 episodes coming out on Wednesday and Friday as well in the build up to the event. So, Tim, let's start. So there's a few subtle differences to how I like the podcast and we like the podcast, where we try and tell the human story a little bit more than just basics of how you perform as an athlete. So we try and get under the hood a little bit. So if I was to ask you a question such as, if you were to describe yourself and you weren't going to describe yourself as a sporting athlete, what would be the shortest description you would give me?
That's a good question. I would say like someone who likes every kind of sports. So that's almost me. I don't just like only running, not only strength training. I love the variation of sports, and that's me. In my childhood, I do almost every kind of sports, from track and field, football, gymnastics, and I think sport is something very beautiful, and it's nice to have the opportunity to try all of them out. And yes, I'm like a sport lover, and not in one special field, and overall.
Yeah, and do you think that, like, as we do quite a bit of research on the athletes that we speak to, the location where you grew up. There's Lily actually just about to join the call. I'll just bring her in a second, but let me get this question out first. Where you grew up was very sort of strategically placed for like extreme outdoor sports, outdoor adventure, access to mountains, access to rivers, access to nature, just where you are there in the very south of Germany, bordering Switzerland, and what's the other border? Just east of
Austria
and Austria. So like an extreme sport haven. Do you think that played in a lot to just how you developed and who you became?
Yes, I think of course I think just not only I live in the nature, because of course my parents supports a lot that I have the opportunity to do sports, but we live in south of Germany, Bavaria, in the Allgäu, near the Alps.
Yeah.
So it's normal when you have time or when you're on holiday or weekend that you join the mountains, that you have the opportunity to do cross-country skiing in the winter or going hiking and skiing. And yes, so when you grow up with sports. And of course, it's very nice, as a child, to have that sport.
Yeah, try growing up in Northern Ireland where there's sunshine one day a year, and you're lucky if you catch it. It happens around July at some point, and you can finally get outdoors, and the whole country closes.
True.
Absolutely blessed. But there's Lily. Lily, do you want to come in and say hello to Tim?
Hi, Lily.
You just unmute. Give her a little second. If not, we'll just move on. It's all good, Lily. Lily, it's okay. We're going to just jump into the questioning section, and I'll let you figure that out. She's just been a little bit rushed today, trying to get things sorted. So, Tim, at the absolute heart of our podcast, we have 8 questions. So the 8 questions are going to come at you from completely different angles. Some of them will make you think about your philosophy. Some of them will make you think about sort of how you grew up and how you develop. Some of them might just be fun questions to see how you think about. But let's have some fun with it. So the first question, actually a pretty funny one, in my opinion. You'll tell me whether it is or not. So the first one, this is going to look quite long on the screen. Just listen to me. Don't worry about reading, okay? So I read in doing a lot of the research that I've done, you like to go partying after the race with everyone that's there from time to time. So I'm going to now take your 2, one which is HYROX, the other one which is beer, and merge it into a new sport called BEEROX. And with that in mind, who do you think the top 3 athletes in the world would be out of the Elite 15s if at the start of every run lap they had to drink a pint of beer and that was the only difference? So top 3 athletes in the world, and how do you think that would impact the total time? So 8 pints of beer and a HYROX, 1 pint every lap.
That's really nice. So I would say the top 3 athletes will be, of course, I think Hunter. Hunter is very strong on the glass, and especially to drink beer. And I think he's a very good competitor in BEEROX. Of course, Sandy has also some talents in drinking beer, but I hope he don't quit after 5 beers. Just joking. And the third athlete, that's not super easy, but Alex has also some moments after a race where I think he has the capacity to have 8 beers with 8 runs. So these 3 athletes would be a good competitors in BEEROX against me. So I'm open for that.
Oh, so against you. So you're placing yourself at number 1 in the BEEROX.
Of course.
Okay, cool. Got it. Okay. So in this crazy parallel planet world where we're drinking beer and running HYROX, it's probably not advised. Discretion advised. Professional athletes only. What do you think that the quickest time you could run a BEEROX would be? So a pint and a HYROX. A pint every lap and a HYROX.
Okay, I would say sub 70.
Okay, so you're adding 14 minutes onto your personal best to knock down 8 pints.
Yeah, because I think after 8 beers, the 100 wall balls with 9 kilogram will be not the funniest part of everything, and especially the burpees. So I would say these two stations will be very hard. But sub 70, I would say, is possible.
Okay, cool. All right.
I feel sick now just thinking about doing it.
Cool. Going into question 2. So there's a famous training methodology from Germany, German volume training. I think a lot of people know of it. So GVT, I guess the philosophy of it is that more volume is the key to high performance and strength gaining. But if we just take that more volume equals better performance out of GVT, what is your thoughts on volume versus intensity for training planning?
Yeah. So this is a good question. I think for me it's always quality before quantity. So I'm a bigger fan to get the training sessions not over 90 minutes. I think it's enough. Like a HYROX is just 50 minutes, and you're only in a high heart rate during the race, and I don't want that also athletes get more into the mindset they just need to train high volume. They're more the training world champions, to have over 20 hours each week. I want that they go into the training, do the much effort they can into the session, and done. Yeah. Of course, it's important to increase the volume during weeks. Yeah. So that's also important. But when I have always the opportunity, I would say intensity, especially the quality in the session, is more important. So for me, it's important the intensity in the week is good enough.
Yeah.
Instead of the volume.
Yeah.
Especially with the mindset. I don't want that the athletes train more and more and more and forget totally the quality. That's often.
Yeah. So there's so many different schools of thought on this, even within HYROX, right?
Yeah.
But there's a little subculture within HYROX, let's say, of people boasting on the amount of hours they're doing in their training blocks. I've heard numbers as high as 30 hours per week in the build. Now, I know a lot of very high-level Ironman athletes that would be very similar volume for them. So, in my opinion, 30 hours a week is way, way too much for HYROX.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 hours is a sweet spot. But like, what do you think of like those huge volume weeks, and what impact does that have in the long term of an athlete that's essentially only racing for an hour at their worst?
Yeah, that's true. So in my case, I don't train more than 19 hours each week. That's the maximum I added last week, and it's enough. It's also mentally it's exhausting. And especially you need to ask yourself if you can recover every session. And I think when you have 30 hours each week, there's not much quality in each sessions when you have these high volume.
Yeah.
And then you need to ask, okay, do you need that extra volume for what? And I think it's more important that you take the time, or you take less time. You have enough time to recover, to take the time in recovery that you're fresh for the next session.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. And like, I kind of get the aerobic base, building the pyramid on top of a strong aerobic base. I get that aspect, but I think what's being dramatically overlooked is the catabolic nature of just like degrading that much tissue from doing a bunch of like sort of zone 2 training, like losing a lot of muscle tissue.
Yeah.
Just weaning yourself down, losing power. Like that is a trade-off that you have to play into if you were doing the big hours. Look at Ironman athletes. Like there's nothing to them. There's no muscle. There's not much like per se power in the frame of them. But they don't need that power because they're performing across a much longer time domain, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Yes, and of course, I mean, you need to see that you want to do that hybrid kind of sports for more than just 1 year. So you need to increase your volume each week and each year, and also the intensity. But when you're already with 30 hours, you don't have much space to get more volume in.
Yeah.
And then especially your body. So I think as a former track and field athlete, as much more you do like the zone 2 runs, as slower you will be in your running pace. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's more volume you do in zone 2. The speed get lost.
You're
That's important.
you're training a cadence which is much slower than what you need to perform at.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Good to hear your thoughts on that. As I said, everyone has different opinions. I'm not saying
Of
everyone's wrong, but okay, Lily, you're going to pick this one up. Okay, question 3. Pop up on the screen.
Yeah, so Tim, hi everyone as well. I'm finally here. You said you give it everything from the start and you hopefully make it to the end. Do you have sort of one time where it didn't pay off to doing that strategy?
Yes. More than often. So I had some races when the strategy don't pays off. But it's always a part of the game, especially like in Stockholm. I think last year or Chicago, I go hard from the start line. And I want to go hard, but I don't have the shape in this moment. And yeah, at the end, it hurts a lot. But yeah, especially in Hong Kong or now in Las Vegas, when I know I have the shape to get hard from the start line, I go with a different confidence in the race. And just I say that very often is my goal in every races. I want to win, and I hope the plan goes off. And when not, it's also good. But it's important that you have the mindset, you have the shape to win, that you're the fittest person in this 15 man's elite field.
Okay.
I was going to say, is it more of a mindset thing where you're like, I'm giving this all I've got from the start, rather than being like, I'm going as hard as I can from the start?
Yes, because it's always important, or also for not elite athlete, to give every time your best. So when it's not your day, it's okay, but you give your best. So everything is okay, and you need to be happy about the race and about the effort you did in the race.
Okay, cool. Question 4, coming in from a slightly different angle. So we're going to capture you, Tim. We're going to put you on an island. And on the way to that island, you get the choice to bring 1 CD, 1 book, 1 piece of training equipment, and 1 food type. What are you bringing with you?
Okay, so when I'm on an island, I would say CD. It's a good question.
Ryan, you're showing your age there with the CD. Might be a bit
Yeah.
far for Tim.
No, because if I say you can bring your iPhone, then he gets access to everything else.
Yeah, true.
Take it back 20 years for this question to still apply.
So CD. Okay, 1 book. Funny thing, I never read a book, so I don't know which kind of book. Piece of training equipment. I think a wall ball, that I can spend more time with the wall ball, that we have a closer relationship together. Maybe it helps.
Like Castaway with Tom Hanks.
Yeah. So
Wilson!
just hang a little bit around with the wall ball to get a closer relationship together. That would be a nice idea. And food, I like pizza. So when it's my last time to live, I would take a pizza. I love them.
Yeah.
So CD, I would say maybe something like David Guetta, because it's like a DJ when I heard a lot in my in the past when I was a child. So it gives me good vibes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And maybe the book, let me help you out with that. Maybe like a survival guide.
Yeah, that's a good one.
would be smarter. Yeah. Especially also a pizza is maybe not the smartest idea to take it with me. But I have a good dinner.
Okay. I need to ask you about, like, is there any reason why you have not read a book? And can I try and get you to read a book, or is it just I'm not reading anymore. This is it. I finished at school. I'm an athlete now.
Yeah, so I get a lot of books from my mom also in Christmas or to my birthday, but I have some problems because when I read a book, my thoughts drives always up into other things. So
Okay.
I just can't focus to read a book. As I don't know why, but
Okay.
it's good.
Don't worry, I have the same thing as well. Like
Yeah.
my mind goes crazy when I try to read a book. So like audiobooks are really good, especially when you're like doing zone 2 or something like that. You can just tune into it. But yeah, if I try and sit down and read a book, I am not gonna remember what's on that page.
Yeah, I read lots of books, but I'm so impatient. I don't think I actually read it. I just turn the pages and then I finish the end of it and I'm like, what the hell was that about? I have no idea. I think I just do it to say I did. But I just read an amazing book recently, and it was about man's search for meaning. It was actually a gentleman that survived the Holocaust. So it
Okay.
was, and like 98% of all people around him were dying and knew they were going to be killed. And it's how he found meaning in his life, even though he'd been completely degraded and that he was likely not even going to live. And it was an incredible book on philosophy and how to find purpose even when it seems that life is purposeless. Yeah, it was very, very interesting book. Okay, cool. So moving on from that one, Lily, and this one's for you. Question 5.
Yeah, we've seen that your first HYROX was a 1 hour 17, which makes me feel a lot better about my time. What hurt more, that or your PB of 56 minutes?
Of course, the 117. Yes, it was my first time, and I think 2018, when HYROX called HYROX in this time, so the former name. And yeah, it was after my track and field career. I think my weight was 61 kilograms, so much lighter than now. And my family was also there, and they had a lot of worry that I will survive the slap pull and also the wall balls. And I think so the slap pull I need 9 minutes, and also the wall balls over 7 minutes. I heard a lot, but I think my family hurt more than myself, because yeah, it was really, really, really hard to look that disaster. I have some old videos. It's very, very funny to see that. But the 117 was very, very hard.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. And
Was it the stations that slowed you down the most, or like what was your running pace at in
Yeah.
that one?
The running pace was good because I was a former track and field athlete, so my running was great. I think 3:30 or 3:40. Most hurt station was slap pull and the wall balls, because of course of my weight. Funny was at this time I got unbroken also in the farmer's carry, so that's what's funny because I never trained that, but don't know why. But it goes very well. But these two stations were my killers. Yeah.
The reason I put that question in there was because I love the fact that you came into the sport and you done a time which a lot of other people, like in just mass population, would come in and do a similar sort of time in their first race, and then you went on with that, and you went on to make it into the Elite 15. And I think that's incredible because a lot of the Elite 15 athletes, when they first took on the sport, for whatever reason, they do really good times in their first times. Like JK won his first ever race. A bunch of these guys do around an hour the first time. So I think that sheer amount of development that you've had through the sport, it just really speaks to everyone else that's sort of hovering around that time, that if you just commit to it, if you just focus on some of the weaknesses and improve your strengths, and that you can really develop, and there's huge opportunity within the sport. You just know that. So that's why I love that story, and because it's a more human story about how someone got to the top, and I think that's awesome.
Yes, So especially, I think my second race was in the World Championships. Their time in Oberhausen, I run a 107. So a 10-minute PB just to train, to have the goal to get it better than in the last race. And it's always you versus you in HYROX, and that's the simple. Don't compare you with other athletes. Just compare you with yourself, and that's important.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, my pronunciation, you've already told me this once, and I'm going to have a go at it, but breathe. Think German, Ryan. Let's go. How was life growing up in Dietmannsried?
It's really good.
Good, Ryan. Well done.
It's nice. It's a wonderful small village. We have everything. We have a nice track, nature. I had a lot of good friends. So I grew up more in a football club near or in Dietmannsried. And just have had great friends, and also had the opportunity to do other kind of sports. And then my dad and I grow up a new track and field club their time. And I run there, and I was not really bad in running. So from there on, I did some races, regional races, and I wasn't really, I was not so bad. So I had an opportunity to go, in different championships, in Bavaria championships, and also German championships. It was really great, especially with all the support from my family.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you grow up in a small city that you don't have the possibility to do a kind of running more professional.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any other training partner.
Yeah.
And then I drive when I was, I think, 15 2 times each week to Munich, 1.5 hours, to have there the opportunity to train with other athletes. And that was the point when it was really hard as a young kid to do this sport, but don't have that. So you run a lot, especially alone, but you don't have the opportunity to have that child life with other kids, to go partying, to have these first experience. And that was a little bit of problem, because when you go home, you don't have other friends who are also in this kind of sports.
Yeah.
And yes, so it is very nice, but running was a little bit difficult to get professional, when you don't be near a big city with other good athletes.
And what kept you there? Because it sounds like you're still there, and you're now a professional athlete within this sport, or semi-professional. I don't know how it's phrased within HYROX Elite 15. I guess some of the guys are fully professional. Some of them are doing full-time jobs outside of it. But like, what's kept you there the whole time? Is it just you've got a really, really close family unit? That you've got really deep ties with friends? That you just love that area?
Yeah, I think the difference is that I'm older. So especially when you're young, you want to have friends to go partying. But then, I mean, now I'm 26. I know what I want in my life, and that I don't need someone other to reach my goals. I just need myself. And of course, it's also great to have that HYROX community in Germany. Now I can drive in other cities to train with different people. Also, 15 minutes near me are two other very, very good athletes, or 3 other good athletes. with Florian Gast, also former elite athletes with Fabian Eisenlauer, and you have the opportunity to train with them together.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so the biggest difference between now and when I was a child is that I just don't need someone different to get motivates me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's my way. Yeah.
I appreciate that answer, Tim. Thank you very much. And moving on to question 6. Lily, do you want to pick this one up?
Sure, yeah. So you have raced with the top guys in the sport and you're never shy of a doubles partner. Why do you think they want to race with you, and how do you think they'd describe Tim?
Nice. So I think it's nice to race with me because double is more a team sport, and I was in a football club, so I'm a good team player, and yeah, I love them to have that sportsmanship to go all out with your body, to go with the highest and deepest moment in a race together. And I love them. And yeah, describe Tim, I think, go hard from the beginning to the end. And I hope we won't die. So that's simple.
Let's hope not, anyway.
Yeah, so go hard from the beginning and then hope to finish the race in front.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay, cool. So, obviously, HYROX was formulated in the Germany Nordics area, from what I understand, and it makes it a very important hub for a lot of top HYROX athletes. A huge portion of the Elite 15, like maybe not a huge, but a very solid portion of the Elite 15 are German athletes. Do you think that trend will balance as the sport continues to globalize and develop? Or do you just think that because Germany was the epicenter of HYROX, that's why we're seeing so many people at the top of the sport right now from Germany? Long story short, why do you think there's so many Germans in the Elite 15? And do you think they'll stay there?
So, I mean, in Las Vegas, I think there's just 2 German athletes. So
Okay.
it's not that much. I think the most important point is that Germany was like the first event. When you look to the normal German gyms, you don't have the perfect training conditions. So I would say, yeah, the causes, because it was or HYROX is German, and yeah, that's the only reason, I think. And of course, I would say the German athlete is very disciplined. So we have like a daily structure with train, work, sleep.
Yeah.
We're good in there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think what in Germany could be better is the training conditions. It's not easy to find a perfect gym.
Okay.
And yeah, I think in other countries, it's normally to have a sled, a ski, or row, and Germany it is normal. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when you said there's 2 other German athletes, you meant in the men's division, right? Like, because in the females division, there's quite a few. There's Jana, there's Seka,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of others as well. So I think out of like the Elite 15 in Vegas, maybe there's 5 German athletes or something like that on both sides.
True. On the women's side, we have a lot of good German athletes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Cool. Okay, so question number 8. Lily, you can pick this one up.
Okay, cool. So obviously you're a sports scientist, and what sort of 3 top scientific studies have you embedded into your training methodologies?
Okay, it's nice. So I'm a fan to read studies, but like to have that that you read the study and say, okay, what can I implement into my training? So the Norwegian threshold, double threshold thing I implement in my training.
Can you walk us through that? Because a lot of people listening won't know what that is. I'm familiar, but can you just give us a basic understanding of their methodology?
Yeah, so the new Norwegian threshold modality is to train like a double threshold day. You run like 2 times a day in a RPE 7 out of 10 or sub 3 millimole lactate, 4 by 6 minutes or 10 by 1K, that you have a high training stimulus, but not too high, that you can compensate it. And of course, when you see the HYROX paces, you're almost the whole race in your threshold pace, and it makes you more economic to run that.
Yeah.
But of course, you need to look if you can do it, especially it's too much impact. I think the second study is especially with tendons, calf tendons. Because I read a study when you load your tendon, Achilles tendon, isometric. Yeah, so with a lot of weight, it could be more stiff. The stiffness increase. So when I want to run, or when you see all the really good runner, they have like a short button time when they run.
Yep.
And you want to have the tendon very stiff, and that's why I do a lot of isometric things with my calves, that I have like a good Achilles tendon, especially also for injuries prevention.
I've never heard that before, but that's fascinating and makes so much sense.
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, the focus is to shorten the length of the Achilles tendon in the strong phase. So as when the foot hits contact with the ground, you're not losing all that propel forward as the foot drives up. So it's more energy driving forward, more economical as well. That's fascinating. And it makes more sense when you see elite marathon runners and how they run, where their feet and toes are always out in front of them, but they continue to bound forward. I guess it's like a human way without using carbon plates almost, isn't it? It's like it's like a if you haven't got money for carbon plated shoes, do some metrics on your Achilles. That's fascinating.
And that's great, because when you have like the combination from a good Achilles tendon and the carbon shoes, and that makes a huge difference. And I do that often, like the combination between isometric calves hold with pogo jumps, that you have like the isometric and also the short power jumps. That's great. And the third, I think, is that I do a lot of plyometric jumps, especially for the power output. So a combination between heavy squats and like reactive and broad jumps.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get. I want to get stronger, but I want to have the opportunity to get the strength into power. So I do a lot of supersets with heavy weights and explosive body weight movements.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. They're amazing answers. I really appreciate them. Certainly the second one has really made me think, as I've never heard that before, but it just makes total sense and could be a great shortcut for a lot of people.
So that's why I use that, because for me, I thought, and it makes sense. So especially when you load it, it's like when you want to try it, do it at the beginning with low weight, but just 3 by 30 seconds, especially to hold that weight.
Yeah.
Go down, 5 power jumps, rest 60 until 90 seconds, and do that again. And that's especially for a whole season. I think you will avoid a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And especially you're more reactive on the bottom.
Yeah. Definitely. Especially the injury prevention piece, not even just in the Achilles, but like when the foot makes contact with the ground when running, it's trying to do one thing. It's trying to find stability as quick as possible. It's called proprioception, right?
Yeah.
The foot hits the ground and it tries to find stability. Now, when people can't find that quickly because they're wearing those big cloud-based shoes or they've got really poor Achilles strength or calf strength, all that force from all the running gets thrown into the hips, gets thrown into the knees, and a lot of people gets those injuries. So the stronger you can make the base which hits the ground, then the more evenly it's distributed, the force through the body.
Yeah, because a lot of people run with the heel, so it's normal. And then they heard, okay, they should be run more front foot, but they forget to say, okay, when I do front foot running, I need to strengthen different types in my body, especially the tendon. And they don't do that, and then they get a inflamed Achilles tendon, and they need to rest. And that's important that you don't change your running type from super fast, because they need to strengthen all different types, especially on the foot.
Cool. I had another question. We normally only ask 8 and then a bonus, but I have another question that I just want to ask you. You've got a huge amount of like pro wins and doubles wins in time. I think it's over 10. I think it's close to 13 in total from what I looked at. Maybe it's 1 or 2 more or less. When are we going to see you win a major? When are we going to see you win a major?
In Las Vegas.
We go. Yeah, you're feeling really confident going into Las Vegas.
Yes. So I hope. I of course I say that in the beginning. I want to win every race.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I'm the fittest version of myself at the moment, and I'm fitter than in Hong Kong, and I have nothing to lose. So yeah, that's why I have, of course, a big chance to win.
I love it.
I'm excited to watch it. Yeah.
A man with nothing to lose is a very dangerous man. Lily,
Yeah.
The bonus round.
Yeah, so in this podcast, we do a bonus round where the previous athlete asks a question to this athlete, and then you'll then ask a question to the next one. So from our previous athlete, we had, when did you know that you had something in your sporting career? Like, when was it, like, realize that you're like, oh shit, I can do this kind of thing?
That's a good question. I was happy in my life without HYROX, but for me, it's like a HYROX. It's like a present for me for my life. Yeah. So it's not for me not a professional sport. It's more than a present, and I enjoy as long as I could. Yeah. And now it's funny because I was in the sport from the beginning since 2018, when nobody knows what HYROX is. Yeah. And now it's big, and now I have the feeling, okay, it's the sponsors are going into the sport, and I love the journey, and I just want to not to get under pressure, just enjoy every race. And yeah, it's like a dream when I have as a child to get a professional sports athlete.
Very cool.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I think as well, because you have that like mindset of just going and enjoy it without the pressure of like, I need to do this for the sponsorship or for the money or something like that. It just becomes, your results probably just become better because of it.
Yeah, that's it. And I think the feeling of winning a race is something what it makes you addicted as a sports athlete. It's not, of course, when you win, the money is nice, but the feeling when you finish the race, when you win something, it's the most beautiful feeling I've had, and that's why I want to race and I want to run to get this feeling again.
Very cool. And so the next athlete we're going to be interviewing is Jess Hetro. So born in Australia, female Elite 15 athlete, lives in the East Coast of America right now.
Nice.
She's racing in Las Vegas. What question would you like to ask Jess? You can ask her anything.
That's good. Just let me know.
It came from like a
What are the plans after the race where we go partying?
I love that. Vegas has got all the options.
Okay, cool. Lily, there's the last part of that question. Just wrap it up.
So for like the average sort of HYROXer, let's say like 1 hour 17 to 90 minutes, what would you suggest to that person to shave like 10 minutes off of their time?
For these kind of athletes, improve your running. Yeah, that's simple. Especially 90 minutes, improve your running, enjoy running, to get the love into running, and then you will improve your overall time, of course.
Okay.
Would you suggest like just low, slow I can't talk anymore. Low, slow running, or would you suggest adding that intensity in at that stage?
Of course, intensity also, but the most people don't enjoy running when they begin. And I, as a coach, I know when I learn to run slow at the beginning, they feel more comfortable and they don't feel very exhausted. And then they enjoy running. Okay, I can reduce my stress. I have good feelings. I enter running with good feeling. That's the most important point. And when they enjoy running, then you can go up with the intensity, do like some fartleks, 1 minute fast, 1 minute slow, but just by feeling. And after that, you can implement some times what they need to reach.
I love it. Keep it simple. Just get out and run more and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, cool. So listen, you survived the 8x8 and a bonus round, Tim. Thanks for being open and honest. And thank you for some of those really, really interesting answers too.
Thank you.
So I guess the last thing we're going to wrap up with, only because it's Las Vegas week, we don't normally do this, is if you're comfortable, male and female top 3 race predictions for the major.
Okay, female, I think Lauren, Joanna, it's boring, I know, and then third place, Seka Anik.
Okay.
I'm a coach and I'm very confident that she will race very, very great. In the men's field, I hope Tim, second place, James Kelly, third place, Hunter.
Okay, very interesting. And what do you think the times will be for the men?
I think you need to run 45 or 45, 55.
Do you think it'll be?
Will be a very fast race. I think the athletes are super fit all. And
hang on, just let's repeat that. Did you say 45? I think, did you mean to say 54?
55, sorry.
45.
Seriously fast.
Sorry.
Feeling great.
That would have been breaking news. Tim's going to break 50 for the first time. 5 minutes.
No, not now. 54, 55.
Yeah.
And I think on a women's field, when the course is normal, I think in a women's field will be some fast ladies to go sub 1 hour. I hope so.
Cool. And then the last little thought, really, just to air things out. There's a little bit of a debate in our community happening at the moment for how long it's going to be before an individual athlete in the pro weights or the elite weights is going to break 50 minutes. So pretty much like 60% of the people think that it'll be done within the next 20, 25 years. And the other 40% think it's going to be more than 25 years. So Dylan Scott thinks more than 25 years. Hunter thinks it can be done in the next 3, 4, 5 years. What do you think?
Like Hunter's opinion, next 3-4 years.
Okay. Cool.
Because the sport is so young, and we have a lot of athletes who go 53, 50, 54. And when you have the opportunity to get completely professional, when you have the opportunity to get an attitude, to have the time to recover, something that, I think 3-4 years, then we have the first athlete to go sub 50.
Awesome. Tim, that's pretty much everything from our side. I guess there's an opportunity for you now just to two things. If you've got any questions for us, you're more than welcome just to fire ahead. I am a completely open book, as is Lily. So that's the first thing. And then second thing, how would you like to promote yourself? Is it just your coaching business? Is it how can people get you on Instagram? That type of thing. So yeah, it's the microphone's all yours now.
Ah, nice. So of course, I want to wish every athlete good luck, especially the German ones. So Linda, Jana, Seka, and Viola, and Yannick, that they take their spot for the Germans. And yeah, when you want to see my training, and follow me on Strava, Instagram. And when you want to have a good coaching, culture programming or culture training is my training platform. You're always welcome to ask me everything what you want to do.
Yeah.
And yes, just have fun in training. Just have fun in racing. Don't take too much pressure on you. Just enjoy. Racing is a present for your training effort.
Yeah, and any sponsors you have at the moment that you want to give a shout out, or anyone that you'd like to work with?
Yes, well, was to be an athlete, it's not very cheap. I'm very happy to have really great sponsors like Puma, Team MyZone, My Protein, and the Shapes, of course. Very thankful, especially also for the people from the companies who supports me.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's wonderful. Listen, Tim, we're just short of an hour. I try and keep it as close to 50 minutes as possible. So I do, and I want to give you your time back. You're getting on a plane on Monday morning European time, is that right?
Monday midday.
Monday midday?
Yeah, so 12-hour flight. So from Munich to London, from London direct to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, have some time there.
That's perfect. Listen, I would say we wish you all the luck in the world, but I don't think you're a guy that believes in too much luck. And say we wish you all the health in the world.
Thank you.
Yes, I hope you go up and put in a great performance, and we're really excited to watch you live on the day.
Thank you to be in your podcast or in this format. It's very great. You both are very pleasant to me, and so I'm very happy. And I hope we see us in some time. Not just in the video, so in real life.
Yeah, sounds good, Tim. I look forward to it. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for your time. Really,
Bye.
Bye. Thanks
Bye.
for chatting.
Bye-bye.